Hey, what's up everybody, it's Axel, and today we're going to be talking about the Moondrop Meteor. This is a tri-bird IEM that has one 13mm single dynamic driver, 2 balanced armatures, and 4 planar tweeters. Priced around $500, and it has some tech inside of it. So let's get started. What do you get inside the box? So first of all, you do get 6 pairs of ear tips, 3 pairs of your standard silicone ear tips, which you can see right here, and 3 of these clear looking I think liquid silicone, I'm not sure. They kind of look like Asla ear tips. So they're kind of sticky, but they're actually very comfortable. I do recommend you try them if you have this IEM. You do get a sturdy zipper carrying case, which is the one you see right here. And of course, you do get a modular cable, which comes in with swappable 3.5 and 4.4 terminations. The cable itself actually is very nice. It's slightly stiff, but it's not prone to tangling. And the chin slider works, and it's not microphonic either, which is very nice. Overall, this is a solid and practical accessories package. And let's look at the earpiece itself. Now, at first glance, all right, the Meteor might look intimidating. It's big, it's tall, and it has this resin shell that kind of looks bulky. But actually, once you wear them, they're surprisingly comfortable. Now, let's look at the design itself, how it looks like. They say there's a meteorite inside here to act as a dampener for the dynamic driver. Again, like if you look at it from this view right here, it looks like a normal IEM, and the part that's contacting your ears is like any other IEM. The only thing is they stick out of your ear a bit, you know, and this makes it a bit challenging. Like, for example, if you like to sleep with IEMs, probably you don't want to do that here. That said though, the build itself looks fantastic. It has this semi-translucent look to it, and if you look close you can almost see the drivers. It's smooth, it's lightweight, and it has 2 vents, one here and one here. I wore them for hours without even the slightest hint of discomfort. For me, honestly, this is a very comfortable IEM. Not just comfortable, they are very comfortable. Nozzle diameter is 6.3mm at the widest point, which is average, and let's talk about the sound. Let's look at the frequency response graph, and as you can see, the Meteor has a smooth sound signature. Not a lot of bass, and you do get a forward mid-range and a well-extended smooth treble. You could call this a mid-centric tuning or a vocal-focused tuning. Let's talk about the bass. Let me be straight here. I need more bass, period. With 13mm driver, I expected more bass. The bass here, I will say, is very polite. It's shy even. It doesn't have a strong impact. It doesn't have, you know, a strong sense of physicality. Tracks that I know have strong bass felt bass light on the Meteor, and honestly, it felt less engaging. The bass never reached a level where it felt like satisfying to me personally. It's not a punchy bass, and the sub-bass rumble is always subtle. So this is a very light bass. I am not very light, but yeah, you could say light bass. On the bright side, the bass quality is fantastic. You do get a very clean bass response. It's very deep, it sounds textured, has very well-defined bass notes. Even the sub-bass has excellent texture. But again, the bass here kind of always felt complementary. You know, it's not the main thing. And when I listen to some tracks by Deadmau5, for example, the lack of slam was noticeable to me. So you might like this if you're into light bass, or you don't mind a polite bass presentation, or if you're open to EQ, you might enjoy that bass here, because the bass quality is fantastic. But as it is with the stock tuning, in my opinion, kind of made the music a bit less engaging for my subjective preference. Bass quality is excellent though. Now, the mid-range of the Meteor is one of its strong points. Despite the light bass, the mids here don't sound thin or lean at all. They actually sound very natural, very balanced, and have good note weight. Vocals are front and center, and this makes it a very vocal forward tuning that never sounded shouted to me. It sounds, you know, balanced and amazing. Instruments sound correct. There is correct tonality and timbre, and overall, I love the mid-range here. And when it comes to the treble, this is where the Meteor shines in my opinion. It is class leading, okay? This sounds exactly like this. It sounds natural, realistic, accurate, and incredibly smooth. Like, it even outperforms, yes, many EST implementations out there. Yes, it does that. In my opinion, some EST out there, not every IEM of course, but a lot of them in my opinion do have this wispy or weightlessness to the notes that some people call ethereal. I will say, in comparison, the Meteor here, the treble feels substantial, it feels realistic, it feels more natural in my opinion. The treble here extension is excellent, and even on sibilant test tracks, at high volume, it never sounded sibilant, harsh, fatiguing, or in any way. Like, it's not even airy, but it's more like an effortless and natural detailed type of treble presentation. Frankly, guys, this is one of the best and smoothest treble I've ever heard in around this price range or even higher. The microplanars here do like actually an exceptional job, and it's not even an IEM that has any of that planar timbre or, you know, any of the bite that comes with planar IEMs, you know, or any of that excessive incisiveness that you can sometimes get with planar drivers. But I have to say though, this is unique to the Meteor. You know, not every other IEM is going to have that. The implementation here is actually top notch. And if I heard this and someone told me this has 44 planars, I would say no way, no way. This is incredibly smooth. So smooth that I would actually recommend the Meteor even if someone is treble sensitive. You know, I'm a treble sensitive listener myself, and this is very natural and very smooth, non-fatiguing treble. So the treble here is top tier and is a standout feature of the Meteor. Let's talk about the technical performance of the Meteor. I will say the level of detail of the Meteor here is good. You know, like on my technical scale, I will put this, let's say 80% between the Nova and the Pilgrim. 80% means it's a resolving IEM with good detail and excellent separation. Timbre is natural as well. You know, soundstage is slightly above average. Imaging is outstanding though. The spatial cues, the left and right spatial cues are very precise and spot on and impressive. So let's start our comparison segment. So I will first of all start the comparison against the DUNU DK3001BD, an IEM that comes at a similar price point with a comparable driver setup. The DUNU has 1DD, 4BA and 4 planar tweeters, and it has a metal shell and metal nozzle with a lip for people who prefer that. And excellent accessories, of course. Let's talk about the sound differences. I will say though, for me, in terms of the bass, the DUNU has the better bass. And I'm not just talking about the amount of bass, I'm talking about the quality as well. The rumble, the texture, you know, the physicality. And even when I EQ'd them similar to each other, I just felt the DUNU has the better quality, not just the quantity. It just felt, you know, stronger in its slam, even when they are tuned to the same bass amount. It's a bit more detailed there, you know, and it just sounds, you know, more physical, let's say. It has a better slam, better texture, better detail in the bass notes. So that's a win for DUNU. When it comes to the mid-range, both like are good in their own ways, in my opinion, and I enjoy both tunings. The DUNU comes across as a bit cleaner, a bit transparent, and slightly more laid back. It's a bit tamer, whereas the Meteor kind of pushes the vocals more forward, and I enjoy that vocal focus experience as well. I like IEMs that have that vocal tuning. So both are enjoyable approaches to me. And in terms of the treble, in my opinion, this is where the Meteor pulls ahead. The treble is just so smooth, so natural, and never fatiguing, which is perfect for treble sensitive listeners like myself. On the other hand, the DK301's BD treble kind of felt too much to me. It kind of felt intense, kind of felt a bit fatiguing, and honestly, it's a bit too much for my personal taste, although it has better micro detail and it has faster transients. When it comes to the technical performance, the DUNU wins here. It has better detail, better separation, and overall better technicalities. It sounds more energetic and lively as well, whereas the Meteor sounds, let's say, more smoother, more natural sounding. So both are enjoyable, but in different ways. Now let's talk about another interesting comparison here, another one of my favorites, which is the Softears Volume S. Let's talk about the bass. I will say, in my opinion, I love how the tuning is done. First of all, the tuning of the Volume S, just something that aligns with my preferences perfectly. In terms of the bass, the Volume S offers more bass and higher quality bass. That's just my opinion. The texture is better, the detail is better, the definition in the bass notes is better compared to the Meteor. The sense of physicality as well is more on the Volume S. Just the bass is just, I don't know, man, just very defined, very well tuned, and the quality is just super high. I love the Volume S, honestly, everything about it. In terms of the mid-range, again, the Volume S here wins for me personally. The mid-range here sounds slightly warmer, but sounds fuller, more natural sounding, more full-bodied, and you can feel that and hear that with the instruments and the vocals. Excellent timbre, better timbre as well, more vocal clarity, whereas the Meteor kind of feels smoother. Just the Volume S feels more realistic and full-bodied. When it comes to the treble, I will say here the Meteor kind of wins. It has the lead here. It has like crazy smoothness, right? Unmatched. But again, I have to say the Volume S is also very smooth when it comes to the treble, right? It sounds natural as well. It sounds smooth as well. I feel the Meteor kind of edges it out when it comes to the treble smoothness. When it comes to the technicalities, again, I was surprised to find that the Volume S has better detail, better separation, and even better stage, which makes it technically superior in my opinion. Now let's talk about who I recommend the Meteor to. I recommend the Meteor for people who want a smooth, natural sound signature, people who like vocal forward or vocal focused tunings. I recommend it for treble sensitive individuals who want to listen to a lot of detail in the treble and they want to hear that treble, but they don't want it to be fatiguing. They want it to be very smooth and not offensive while being forward and detailed as well. I recommend it also for people who are open to EQ, because if you've tried EQ before, you kind of know how challenging it is to kind of EQ the treble. But here, in my opinion, you don't need to touch the treble. It's perfect as it is. You can basically EQ the bass or EQ the mid-range, whatever you want, and it's a very easy IM to EQ. And I recommend it for people who like that bass presentation right here. Light bass, polite bass, subtle, but they want the quality. Actually, it's very good quality. Excellent texture, excellent definition, but doesn't have that heavy impact or physicality. And for people who are looking for a comfortable IM as well, I recommend it because frankly, this is a very comfortable IM. All right, who I don't recommend it to? Number one, which is very important, people who want a bass boosted sound signature, people who want a punchy, impactful bass with a deep rumbling low end. You don't get that here. Quality is fantastic, but again, the impact and the physicality of the bass and the amount itself just feels very light to my personal preference. Number two, I don't recommend it for people who are going to listen to a lot of energetic or dynamic tracks. Like, for example, think like EDM or hip hop, because these tracks kind of, not require, but it's always better, in my opinion, if you have a strong low end. Right? That makes it very energetic, very engaging. And the low end here is neutral, or in my opinion, even slightly below neutral. So I don't recommend the Meteor as well if you are one of those people who like to sleep with their IMs on their side. It's probably not going to work out for you, in my opinion. You can always feel free to try, but that's just my opinion. And let's give the Meteor a final rating, and you can look at the ratings and what they mean personally to me. And I will give the Meteor a solid rating of 4 stars. That means it's very good, it's competitive, and it definitely has standout qualities. That concludes today's review. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.